Hi, lovely people. Welcome to Bar Fashion's YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. Thank you for clicking on this video. If this is your first time on my channel, please kindly hit on the subscribe button to subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And also do not forget to put on your notification bell so that you get notified once I post a new video. So in today's video, we're going to be learning how to make this cape you see on the shoulder area of the mannequin. It's a very simple and easy tutorial to make. I hope this is what you're interested in learning. Kindly stay tuned while we get right into the tutorial. Thank you. So to achieve this cape, I already have my bustier cut out already. It's a printed armhole bustier. These are my side pieces and my center piece, and I have my basic back piece. So you should have your bustier cut out already, or your basic bodice if you want to be attaching the cape to your basic bodice neckline. So you can do this on your basic bodice neckline or your bustier neckline. So here I have my fabric, which is a leftover fabric of the lace I'm working with. So now I'm going to go ahead and fold this fabric into two. I'll be using the chopped area to determine the length. So what do I mean? This side that is chopped. So I have 12 inches there. So I'm just going to fold it into two to achieve equal length. So having folded into two, I'm just going to press it so that it can relax well. So having done that now, you can see the part that is folded. So that will now be my center front. So now I have the center piece of my armhole princess bustier. I'll fold it into two like you can see me doing. So I want to make sure that it's aligning with the folded part of the cape fabric, the fabric I'll be using for the cape. Then next I'll bring in my back piece. So can you see the back piece? I'm going to notch the zip allowance area. This back piece already have my zip allowance, and my zip allowance here is 1.5 inches. So I want to make sure that that's where it's like this zip allowance, that part where I have the notch of my 1.5 inches, that is the actual center back. So the remainder is the zip allowance. So that's why I notched at that point. So can you see how I placed my front and back piece together? I want to be able to achieve my shoulder slant. That's the initial shoulder slant, which is 1 inch in front and 1 inch at the back. So that will give me 2 inches in all. So can you see how I'm overlapping my shoulder area, that's at the neckline area, and then it created that 2 inches space at the armhole area. I hope that is clear. So next I'll just go ahead and trace out my neckline. So having traced out the neckline now, so when you are placing your lace, you must make sure that the lace, that's when you're placing the neckline of your center front, that what you have under the neckline area will be enough to give you the length of the cape. So we'll understand why I'm saying this when we start cutting out. So I haven't traced out my neckline now, so I'm going to mark the length of the cape. So I'm going to be using the side, that's the armhole area, to decide the length of this, because at the other side it's longer. So you can see here what I have is 8 inches. So I'm going to mark that 8 inches round. So I'm marking the 8 inches just like we usually mark our flare. So I use this side to determine the length because that side is shorter than the other parts. So this is why I said that when you are placing your front neckline, you want to make sure that what you have under the neckline area, that's what you have at the down part, will be enough to give you the length of your cape. So can you see that it gave me my 8 inches? So, and I even have excess there that I can trim out. So I'm just going to trace it out. So I want to bring in the neckline. Can you see? So I'm making sure that everything is aligned. So I'll also bring in the back and place it. Take note of what I'm doing. Can you see that it overlaps with half of an inch at this point because the cape will not be having joining on the shoulder. So you want to make sure that you're using the half of an inch that you'll be using to join your two shoulders, that's the front and back shoulder, together. So once you do that, you will notice that your shoulder slant will still appear. Can you see? It will still come out. So can you see that space that I have there? So I'm still going to use my tape to confirm it. Can you see that I still have my 2 inches? So if you overlap it properly, it will give you what you should have, which is your 2 inches. So now it's time for us to cut out our cape. So I'm just going to cut it out and show us the next thing to do. So here we are. This is what our cape looks like after cutting it out. So next we'll bring in our front piece like this. I want to notch the exact point where our front neckline stops. So that is why I'm placing the front neckline, making sure that the center front aligns. So can you see? So at the shoulder area where I have my half inch, I'll be using to join the front and back together. So I'm just lifting up that half inch so that I can notch it to indicate or for me to know the exact place where my front neckline stops. So the remaining part is the back neckline. So that is where I notched it. So next I'm going to give this a curve to have that nice curve in front. So there's really no measurement here. I just curved it with my free hand to give it that nice shape in front. So can you see? I'm just going to cut out that part. So this part now is my front neckline with the curve. Then the center back, I'm going to slash it open. Remember that my cape didn't get to the zip allowance. When we were placing our back piece, I made sure that I placed my 1.5 inches, which is the zip allowance, outside the cape. So now let's place our cape on top of our front piece so that we can see what we have. So can you see? So from the center front here, can you see the shape my cape has? So I'll bring in my back piece also so that we can see if our neckline is coming out well. Can you see that? So once you place that half inch on top of half inch, that's like your sewing allowance. And then this is what we have. So can you see it's coming out well? So next thing I'm going to do now is to cut the Ankara fabric. I'm going to be having an Ankara directly under this lace fabric. I'm going to cut my Ankara, then I'll also go ahead and cut my lining that I'll be using to line it. So the Ankara is just going to be behind it, that's top stitched behind it, and then we'll use our lining to turn it to give it that neat finishing. So I'm going to cut that out and show us. So here we are. I've cut my Ankara fabric and I placed my lace on top of the Ankara. I went ahead to top stitch it. Then I used my lining to turn the sides. So I used the lining to stitch the sides. As I stitch around the cape and brought it out from the neck area, as you can see. So the neck area is the part that is opened. So I repeated the same thing for the other side. I stitched all the sides and then I turned it out from the neck area. So now we have our bustier. I've joined the bustier together. So next we're going to join the shoulders of the bustier together. That's the front and back shoulder. I'll be joining it on half inch, which is my seam allowance on the shoulder area. So here I'll be joining fabric to fabric. This is my main fabric, so I'm joining fabric to fabric on the shoulder on half inch, and then I'll join lining to lining. So I'm sewing my fabric separately and sewing my lining separately. So I'm going to do that and come back and show us what to do next. So I've joined the shoulders together and this is what I have. So I'll go ahead and fold it into two. Can you see? Holding the shoulders together, and then I'll fold it into two to get my center front. I'll bring in my scissors and notch it. So this point now is my center front point. So I'll bring in the cape and then I'll place the cape exactly on the center front where I have my notch. So I'll use my pin to pin it down. Then the notch I have at the shoulder tip, remember we notched the cape to indicate where the front neckline stops. So can you see I'm pinning at that point to indicate that that's where it should sit on the shoulder. And you see that my shoulder joining is aligning with the notch. You want to make sure that you take note of all these things so that the cape will relax well. This actually determines how relaxed the cape will be on the neckline. So can you see I'm pinning the back area, and you can see that the cape stops before the zip allowance. Like I earlier mentioned, that the cape will not get to our zip allowance. So now I'll go ahead and pin the second side also, making sure that I place it exactly on the center front. Can you see what they look like at the front? They are not overlapping on each other. They are just meeting at the same point. I'm just going to pin it round and also make sure to align the notched area, which is the shoulder area on the cape, with the shoulders at the other side too. So I'm going to pin it, and then also the cape will stop before my zip allowance. So you don't want your cape to go into your zip allowance. So once I've done that, the next thing now to do is to take this to my sewing machine and sew it round the neckline. You see, so I'm going to top stitch my cape around the neckline. So I'll do that and come back and show us what to do next. Okay, I've top stitched my cape to the neckline of our top, and you see this is what we have. So next I'll bring in my lining. I've also joined the lining on the shoulders together, that's shoulder to shoulder. You see, so I'm going to be placing my lining right side of my lining facing the right side of the fabric. Of course, the part with the seam allowance is now the wrong side of the lining. So can you see I'm pinning it from the back now. So you want to make sure too that the shoulders of the lining and the main fabric are aligning. So you can see that that point I'm pinning right now is well aligned. So you don't want to make any mistake. It has to align well. So here now I folded my lining into two to get the center front also, like I did for the main fabric. So you can see that it aligns with the center front I already notched. So I'm going to just pin that point here, and then also I'll pin the other side. So I'm just basically pinning the lining around the neckline. You see, so you want to just make sure that the shoulder lines are aligning, so that way your lining will also sit well inside. You don't want the lining to be dragged or excess. You just don't want to have any of those issues. So once I've done that now, I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and also sew the lining to the neckline. But here, can you see my cape is stopping away from my zip allowance? So I'm going to be sewing the zip allowance area. I'll turn it with 1/2 inch and then sew round the neckline. Just follow the direction of my finger. You understand what I'm trying to say. So I'm done stitching the lining and fabric together. So as you can see, I'm going ahead to notch the neckline round. So you want to be very careful with this so that you don't cut your stitch. All you need to do is just to notch your seam allowance on the neckline. This will allow your neckline relax well because it is curved. So you want to notch it so that it's easy to turn it out and everything is well relaxed. So can you see what we have? I've turned it out. Can you see what we have? So our neckline is coming out really well. So I'm going to just give it a nice press and show us the next thing we're about to do. We're almost coming to the end of this tutorial, and if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please hit on the subscribe button to subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Feel free to drop a comment, ask questions if you have any. Thank you. Thank you. So let's continue. So I've turned out my fabric, so I'm just going to give it a really good press. Then I'll top stitch the neckline. That I'm going to be shifting away my cape, just as you can see me doing. Then I'll top stitch it close to the neckline. All you need to do, you want to sew the seam allowance down so that your lining is not sticking out from the front. That will give it that firmness around there so it doesn't stick out. So I'm done top stitching the neckline. Can you see what our cape looks like? It came out really beautiful and it's well relaxed on the neckline. I hope you learned a thing or two from this video. If you did, please like, share, and don't hesitate to subscribe. Subscription is free. You're not paying for subscription. So please subscribe to my channel, share this video, and also put on your notification bell so that I get notified once I post a new video. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye and stay safe.